Welcome to Alaska Weather, a production of Alaska Public Media and the National Weather Service, Alaska Region. Produced and broadcast daily from the studios of KAKM, Alaska Weather provides complete forecasts, public, marine, and aviation for all of Alaska. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
Indie Alaska is a groundbreaking series that dives into the lives of people living in the last frontier. Each episode introduces you to colorful characters from around the state. Funding for Indie Alaska is provided in part by Alyeska Pipeline Service Company. Catch the latest episodes at alaskapublic.org.
The National Weather Service.
Good evening, this is your Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Perry Daney. For November 4th, 2015, here's your weather. Started off with tonight's hazardous weather. We have a winter weather advisory for the lower AKwx and middle Yukon valleys, and that's going to be from rain in effect until 6 a.m. Friday, and that's going to be for 4 to 7 inches of snow, and the heaviest snow will be north of Noleto Hills. Also in the lower Yukon Valley, we have the same time frame for the advisory until 6 a.m. Friday. And then again, you're going to have 4 to 7 inches of snow, and the heaviest will be north of Anvik. Also, for Denali and the eastern Alaska range, we have a wind advisory, and that remains in effect from midnight tonight until 6 p.m. Thursday. And that's going to be southerly winds for both regions with gusts to 60 miles per hour. For the eastern Alaska range, those winds will be primarily through the passes west of the Tok Cutoff. And then also for the Susitna Valley, we have a winter weather advisory for snow, and that's going to be from 6 a.m. Thursday through midnight. And that'll be west of the Parks Highway, and your snow accumulation will be up to 6 inches. Now the last one for, we have the high wind warning for ADAC and AKA, the central Aleutians there, and that's going to be remain in effect. And we had the winds were 50 to 60 miles per hour with gusts to 80. That verified today at a buoy at 318, and that's going to remain in effect again until 1 a.m. Thursday for the central Aleutians. Now, starting out with the satellite picture, we have this nice spiral storm force low that's moving along the chain. I'll put it in motion here, and you can watch it. And again, you can see it's just wrapping up and getting stronger, and it's moving along the chain, and it's crossing the chain here, moving into the Bering Sea side. Again, you have all that moisture out ahead of it that's streaming up to the north. And then on the back side, you're going to have the wraparound moisture that's going through the Bering. Then farther out northwest there along the Kamchatka Peninsula, I'll show you on the next loop here. You can see the next system starting to come off the eastern Asia into the Kamchatka Peninsula. That's going to move into the western Aleutians and be the next system maker. And here's the next satellite picture. Again, it shows you the central Gulf, the pretty much clear skies, partly cloudy as you go farther interior in the Anchorage Bowl. This southeast, partly cloudy skies, and more clouds you go farther north into the Canada region. Again, the main system weather maker is this nice spiral storm force low there over the ADAC. And you don't see these too often during the summer, that is. So it's pretty nice. Again, you can see the nice comma cloud that's just wrapping around the backside of the low, and you got the colder air starting to show in the air over Shemya. That's the cold air showers moving in. There we go. Put the loop in motion, and you can see that it's as the low moves to the east. Again, that cold air that's starting to come around on the backside, and you're getting cold air showers on the backside, cold Kiro. Cold cell, that is. For the south central, again, you're gonna have these high clouds here that's moving into the region. Not much going on yet, but the weather's going to be coming into the region. And here's the next loop. Again, it's the same thing. The system's moving to the east, and then some moisture again will continue to move to the southwest, northwest territory region of Alaska. For today's weather, again, you have this storm force low, this broad southerly flow going across the AKwx and eastern Aleutians into the Gulf. There's bringing rain and fog. Again, you have the mixed precip, the change over here from rain to rain and snow, and then snow farther along the Kamchatka Peninsula and farther north along the northwest Arctic coastline. You're going to have the stationary front with isolated snow showers. For the southeast, you got the high pressure dominating, and not much weather, mostly partly cloudy skies, some clearing out just like last night. We had clear skies, good night for the aurora, and then eastern interior there of the southeast, you have some isolated snow showers. For tonight's forecast, the low is going to gradually move to the east along into the Bering Sea, the Bristol Bay region that is, and this continued, the main effect will be, challenge will be the forecast where this changeover line is going to be through the southwest territory and it goes over through the AKwx into the Kenai. So basically higher elevations you'll have snow accumulation, and then on the coastline warmer temperatures and rain. For the Thompson Pass, you're going to look for snow, and then in the town, rain and snow mixture. For a Thursday forecast, you're going to have, again, this low just gradually continue to move to the north into the Bristol Bay region. This front that's going to extend all the way into the central Gulf, bringing strong gustly winds through the Gulf, and then again, rain, predominantly rain, then change over, you get closer along the coastline, and then snow farther in the interior. Northwest, just a weak trough spin around this low, producing isolated snow showers, and then with the warmer temperatures in the northern Bering, you're going to have rain and rain-snow mixture. Friday's forecast, there's that low that we showed on the satellite that's coming off the Kamchatka Peninsula, and that's going to move into the Bering. This low finally makes it, this occluded low that was in the Bering, finally makes it into the Gulf here by Friday, and this front's starting to fall apart. Again, it's going to bring some moisture into the southeast panhandle with, again, mixture and snow farther interior. For the Anchorage, you're going to have a downslope primarily, but you'll have some light rain and snow mixture sprinkles there out through the central interior snow showers. Now for temperature, starting off with the southeast, you're going to have a warm mid-40s temperatures, and then looks like Ketchikan came at 46, Sitka came in at 46, and then Yakutat at 39. And then for the Copper River Basin, a little cooler. Again, with that high pressure, it's in this region. You expect to have cooler temperatures. And they had 12 at Glen Allen, 36 at Valdez, and then 29 at Anchorage, 37 down at Seward, down at Kodiak, 42. Along the chain, pretty much all in the mid-40s. The Southwest Territory, you had 39 at Dillingham, then 39 at Cape Newenham, 38 at Bethel, and then you go farther north again, the southerly flow, you have nice, will just continue to warm up the temperatures, and as you go farther north, they'll be cooler. And we're showing that right now here, cooler along the northwest coastline, 20 at Barrow, and then the coldest temperature coming along the Yukon Valley here, upper Yukon Valley, with 1 degrees just southeast of the Brooks Range, and then 18 at Dead Horse. The southeast will have, again, mid-40 range for temperatures. Along the chain, again, you're going to have 43 at at Port Moller, pretty much all in the lower 40s, upper mid-40s there at the Dutch. You go along the chain, Central Aleutians 45, 39, 38 at Shemya. The Pribilof's coming in at 43, 44. Tonight's low temperatures, that is, The coldest are going to be along the Alcan and the upper Yukon Valley, and then also along the Arctic Range. Makes sense with the colder air up to the north through the Beaufort Sea, and also this high pressure that's sitting over the Alcan border. Again, with this low that's in the Bering Sea, along the chain that is, we're going to have a strong southwesterly push with warm air, and you can see the southwest all predominantly most temperature above freezing, except when you start going farther north. And again, the mixed precipitation we've seen on this Seward Peninsula region. Then for tomorrow's highs, the southeast pretty much will remain the same, all in the lower 40s to upper 40s. And then for Kodiak, you're going to have the mid 20s along the Yukon Valley, a little cooler, mid 15 to 20 degree range, 19 up at Barrow. Southwest, again, you have that southerly flow, again, bringing the warmer temperatures along the chain all the way mid 40s, all the way out to Shemya. Okay, tomorrow's flying weather, pretty much marginal VFR along the Alaska Peninsula and along the southwest and all up to Bering Strait there. You have in the Gulf there, Prince William Sound, IFR, and also IFR on the northwest coastline. Tomorrow's flight path, you're going to have AKwx, VFR, Antiguan, VFR, Merrill and Lake Clark, marginal VFR, Rainy, marginal VFR, Windy, VFR to marginal VFR, Isabel, marginal VFR to VFR, Mentasca, marginal VFR to VFR, and then Tanita, marginal VFR, Portage, IFR, Chillicook and White, marginal VFR. And then for your freezing levels, tomorrow, again, your coldest air, you're going to have that's reflecting your coldest at the surface here far north over the western Bering Sea and the northern, and you get a little cooler. You see the freezing heights raise some with that warm air that's to the south of the chain, but the warmest freezing heights are going to be on the Gulf side, with that strong southerly jet pushing up warmer air, and you can see from the surface all the way to 12,000 in the North Pacific. Tomorrow's icing, again, you're going to have a light to occasional moderate, basically from the northern Cook Inlet along the Akpen, along the southwest territory, all the way up the Bering Strait and northwest coastline. Your lowest will be, again, the northwest coastline and all along the northern Gulf. Tomorrow's jet stream going to be pretty much the strongest one. That southerly is it's digging down on the base of that trough, and then that strong southerly bringing 115 knots. You saw those warmer temperatures at the Gulf, and then on the southeast you're going to have northwesterly winds, and then transitioning to southwest 30 over the lower 48. This low over the Bering, southerly winds 20 to 40 knots out ahead of it, and the backside northwest 15 to 20. Stronger along the chain, 50 to 55. And then for tomorrow's, again, the low, not much change here. Out ahead of it, southwesterly 35 to 40. On the backside, 25 to 30. And then strongest along the chain, 40 to 45. Along the southeast, southwest, southeasterly, and then transitioning to the northwest, 10 to 15. And tomorrow's turbulence, below 10,000 for the Akpen and southwest, and then below 8,000 along the chain. And we'll come back with your Marines after this.
Coming up on Destination Tomorrow, we take a look at NASA's Aviation Safety Program. We'll look back at some highlights of the program and find out what the future holds for aviation. All this and more next on Destination Tomorrow.
Judy, tell me a little bit more about the icing protection system. Do all planes have it?
There's what we call an anti-ice system where you don't allow the ice to grow at all. That's if you got a very hot leading edge. You see that in jets. Then there's a de-icing system which has pneumatic boots, that the boots will wrap around that leading edge, they'll inflate and pop the ice off. So you let the ice grow and then you got to get it off. The pneumatic boots are typically what you see with turboprop aircraft.
Does icing affect planes in, say, a warm climate?
Icing occurs everywhere. You've got to be aware of it. I've got a pilot friend who told me the worst icing he encountered was flying from Florida to the Caribbean in July at 16,000 feet, the worst icing he ever saw. But icing really can occur anywhere and any time. One of the things we do here at NASA is to have better designs. So maybe a system that would automatically turn on the ice protection system if a sensor goes up. The short-term solution is to train the pilots and educate them about how to detect icing, how to be aware of it, train them how to get out of the icing environment if and when they need to. Ideally, icing is a non-issue in the future. We're working to get there.
For many of us, fear is the biggest problem when it comes to flying. We thought it may be helpful to present you with some statistics that may or may not be helpful to those of you who are fearful flyers.
First, your chances of being involved in an aircraft accident are approximately 1 in 11 million, while your chances of being killed in an automobile accident are about 1 in 5,000, proving that the most dangerous part of your flight is the drive to the airport.
One last fact. Statistically, you have more of a chance of dying from the food served on board the flight than being involved in an aircraft accident.
Most people who have flown in an airplane have experienced turbulence. NASA is working on new warning systems to help pilots avoid dangerous turbulence. Paula Vaden has more.
If you've ever flown in an airplane, you are probably familiar with turbulence. Even for the most experienced flyers, the sudden, sometimes violent, irregular air motion can be an unsettling experience. In most cases, turbulence is merely an inconvenience that passengers and flight crews must endure. But in cases of severe turbulence, the violent shaking can not only cause serious injury to passengers and crew, it can also be fatal. In an effort to help aircraft avoid turbulence, researchers at NASA are testing new onboard aircraft systems. The Airborne Research Integrated Experiment System, or ARES, uses experimental systems that detect turbulence minutes before an aircraft encounters it. This new system may allow pilots to avoid severe turbulence, making flying safer. I spoke with Neil O'Connor in the Crew Systems branch at NASA Langley Research Center to find out more.
You can think of turbulence as any phenomenon in the atmosphere that's going to upset the airplane. Changes in wind that can cause the airplane to be disrupted from its normal flight. You can also get turbulence whenever you have wind rushing over the top of a mountain. The leeward side of a mountain can be very turbulent. You can also get turbulence wherever the jet stream is active. There's a high wind speed in the region of the jet stream, but slower right nearby. Thunderstorms can cause turbulence. Everyone knows right nearby the storm, but sometimes even 50 or 100 miles away in the clear air, you can get turbulence from a thunderstorm.
So Neil, how are pilots avoiding severe turbulence now?
For the most part, pilots have several simple options. They listen to the radio to hear if other pilots have already encountered turbulence in that area. So that means somebody's already been hit. They can also look at their onboard radar and try to, based on their experience, can extrapolate what they think might be, but it's not really foolproof. And they can also get a general forecast from the government sources or from their own airline.
Okay, we got some turbulence now. We're about 3 miles short.
Though seldom damaging to modern aircraft, turbulence is the leading cause of in-flight injuries among passengers and flight crews. On average, 58 injuries aboard aircraft are reported each year. 98% of these injuries occur when unsuspecting passengers or crew are unbuckled or out of their seats when an aircraft encounters turbulence. Currently, there are no instruments on board aircraft to detect turbulence before a plane encounters it. NASA researchers hope to change this by incorporating new turbulence radar systems within existing onboard weather radars. With this new radar system in place, researchers hope to provide pilots with enough warning to either avoid the turbulent area or at least give passengers and flight attendants enough time to return to their seats and buckle up.
The radar system itself will just be a software upgrade to the existing wind shear radar that's already on board the airplanes. The beauty of that, of course, is that since it's just an upgrade to an already certified piece of hardware, it should be relatively inexpensive because you're just incrementally changing what's out there already.
So Neil, tell me how exactly this new system's going to work.
The way it'll work for the pilot is that he'll flip a switch that's labeled turbulence, and then he'll have the new software running. It'll be running mostly at cruise altitudes where the pilots typically allow people to move around the cabin. It's not a problem when you're climbing or descending because everyone's already strapped in. So if you have a turbulence encounter there, it's not a big issue because everyone's already buckled in. But we want to help make a difference at altitude when you don't always know there's going to be turbulence out there. And this new product will be able to increase the capability of the system and increase the pilot's confidence in the accuracy of the system, leading to a better, safer environment.
Besides radar, is there any other kind of research with turbulence?
Doing other research, both onboard and otherwise. The onboard system is called the in situ turbulence warning system, and that's a system that uses accelerometers on the airplane to measure what the airplane feels at a given moment. That'll be transmitted automatically to all other airplanes in the general area, along with the location. And a receiving airplane will take that data and adapt it to its own size and class of airplane, and then assess whether or not it's a threat to that airplane. And if it's a threat, then it'll tell the pilot. Another way of enhancing what we have now is improving our forecast capability. And that gets into modeling of the weather and other phenomena of the atmosphere, to better understand what the potential is for turbulence.
So Neil, what are your hopes for this project?
Well, the ultimate goal, of course, is to increase the safety and reduce injuries caused by turbulence on the airplane. Right now, it's very easy to prevent injuries when you know you're going to have turbulence. The pilot says, hey, we got to buckle up for a few minutes. Everyone does it, no one gets hurt. But you don't always know the turbulence is coming. So sometimes if you don't know, people are walking around and the plane gets a lurch, someone's going to get hurt. And that happens now. So we know we can make a difference by improving the product.
That's it for this edition of NASA's Destination Tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. I'm Steele McGonigal.
And I'm Kara O'Brien. For all of us at NASA, we'll see you next time.
Welcome back to your Alaska weather. I'm still Perry Daney, and here's your marine forecast. Starting off with the sea ice forecast. The Beaufort Sea still has total sea ice coverage, and along northwest coastline, you continued ice formation along there, and also you still have ice formation along the Kotzebue and Norton Sound region. Also, you have some ice formation in the Gulf of Andar. Also, you also have some ice formation along the northwest eastern Siberian region there on the western Chukchi Sea. For Thursday's marine forecast for the southeast, the inside waters, southeasterly winds, small craft, wave heights 6 to 4 feet. Then on the outside waters, you're going to have small craft, and then increase the gale force just south of Sitka, and then be easterly as you get near Yakutat, wave heights 10 to 13 feet. For Friday southeast forecast, Marines will be in the inside waters, southeasterly winds 25 knots, and then southerly there at Lynn Canal. On the outside waters, predominantly all southwesterly, and then southerly near Yakutat, wave heights 16 to 18 feet. For the south central Thursday marine forecast, you're going to have easterly gale force winds there for Prince William Sound, and then southeasterly storm force winds in the northern Gulf region. And then again, gale force winds all along the eastern Kenai and the Barren Islands, going up through into the Alaska Peninsula. The Cook Inlet northeasterly winds 30 to 35 knots, and down at Kodiak Island, southwesterly winds 35 knots. A little weaker small craft there at Studley and Shelikof. For Friday, you're going to have northeasterly winds out of Prince William Sound, and then variable 10 knots in the northern Cook Inlet, and then northwesterly winds all the way through the southern to Barren Islands, coming out into the Gulf, and then it's a little bit stronger there near Kodiak, westerly at 40 knots, and your wave heights on the will be 9 feet through Shelikof, up to 2 feet in the northern Cook Inlet, and a little stronger on the Gulf, on the western Gulf side, 14 to 16 feet. For the Alaska Peninsula, you're going to have southwesterly winds, storm force winds, again with that strong Bering low that's approaching to the region. And on the Bering side, you're going to have southeasterly through the Bristol Bay region, and then strong gale force winds there from Perryville all the way down to Cape Zareshev. For Friday, your Alaska Peninsula, you're going to have strong westerly gale force winds, 15 to 21 feet on the Bering side. The Pacific side, again, the same thing, westerly gale force winds 40 to 45 knots, with higher gusts coming out of bays and passes, wave heights 20 to 24 feet. And then for Aleutians, for Thursday, with that strong low, you're going to have on the Bering side, you're going to have storm force winds, all westerlies, a little bit weaker on the backside. There'll be westerly there from just west of Adak, then near Shemya, south westerly 25. The Pacific side, storm force winds, you get closer to just south of Nikolsky, and then south of Adak and Atka, westerly 45. Friday Marines forecast, predominantly all westerly from Adak eastward all the way to Dutch. Gale force winds when you get closer to Dutch. And then southwesterly there near Shemya, again with this next low pressure system that's going to be approaching the western Aleutians. That's why the winds are starting to switch around to the southwest. For Thursday for the west coast, northeasterly winds, small craft, and then northwesterly the gale force there by the Pribilofs, and then easterly coming out of the Bristol Bay region. For Friday, again northerly, then switching to northwesterly, small craft, but kind of a little stronger gale force along the just south of Nunavik Island, and then westerly small craft there by Pribilofs. For the Arctic coastline, pretty much all easterly, and then start switching northeasterly 20-25 knots, freezing spray along the northwest coastline, and then the easterly there out of the Kotzebue Sound. Friday, easterly winds predominantly small craft, and then northeasterly along the northwest coastline all the way down to Bering Strait. Again, freezing spray. Again, with these colder temperatures, you're bound to get that. For tonight's forecast, you have this storm force low, this included low, just sitting over there. That's continuing to wind up and produce strong northwesterly winds on the backside. You got some change over here, rain and snow just west of Adak and Atka. Farther north up through the Bering Strait, you'll have rain, and then with a stationary front along the Arctic coast, some isolated snow showers. And then for the southeast, you have high pressure dominating, again clearing skies, and hopefully you'll have another good night of seeing the aurora tonight. And then you have this weak low pressure system of the Dixon entrance. They'll have some light rain and mixture farther north. This is your Alaska weather. You have a good evening.
These forecasts are to be used for planning purposes only. Call 1-800-WX-BRIEF for a formal pre-flight briefing. Always file a flight plan before you go flying. The U.S. Coast Guard Auxiliary urges you to leave a float plan with a friend or the harbor master before you go boating. Alaska Weather is made possible by the following sponsors.
The National Weather Service.